Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, Governor Kenneth Mapp delivered his third State of the Territory address. Many tuned in to hear about many different issues: crime, education, GERS, and most importantly, the finances. Richard Dorsey files this report.
Richard Dorsey here for News 2 in front of the Virgin Islands Legislature, awaiting the keynote State of the Territory address where the Virgin Islands citizens will understand how we're going to get ourselves out of this fiscal calamity.
Since Lieutenant Governor Parter and I entered office in 2015, we've faced almost inconceivable obstacles with only the most meager resources to surmount them. Our government was nearing the brink of financial collapse. Revenues were falling almost as fast as expenditures were rising. I am pleased to report that in 2017, our economic recovery continues and is accelerating. The economy continues to grow. The United States Department of Commerce, its Bureau of Economic Analysts, recently reported that after declining for 4 consecutive years, the Virgin Islands economy grew for the first time in 2015. If leaders come to the table offering no ideas or recommendation and only criticism and always and only saying no, then they will not be part of any solution. If the extent of one's participation is like no, no, and no again, my son, without offering a viable alternative or solution, then your value at the table will be marginal at best. Your chief executive, I call the legislature to action. I call upon you to pass the laws and authorize the revenues that will allow us to sustain and implement monumental environmental reforms and reduce litter.
With the close of the State of the Territory, Governor Kenneth E. Mapp gave a combined message of both positive and negative issues that the Virgin Islands must face. With the executive branch and legislative branch in attendance, hopefully the territory's leaders can move forward. Richard Dorsey, News 2.
Senators of the 32nd Legislature of the VI, they shared their comments and opinions following the address. Senators from St. Thomas and St. Croix shared mixed reviews in light of the positive and negative outlooks of the VI. Here's more.
32nd Legislature gave their reactions and comments to TV2 News 2.
I feel like the governor started out earlier, of course, highlighting all the positives, all the excess unanticipated revenue. And then he turned right around and basically said, I spent that money off, now I need more. I do have a problem with the spending trends. If you really realize that all these reimbursements that we're getting back from the federal government, I'm wondering how could we have gotten back all these reimbursements and we're still in the red. So I believe we really need a slower roll when it comes to spending.
I have harsh decisions to make. I can tell you that I am very cautious about raising taxes on our people. We have really got to see whether or not the impact that it's going to have, because times are very difficult. Cost of living in the Virgin Islands is very high, as you very well know. And so I don't know if we can necessarily sustain any degree of taxes.
But most important though, I was extremely glad when he mentioned that several of the schools throughout the territory are going to be fixed. To me, that's very important. However, I would love to see a little bit more information in terms of the overall health of the economy.
I'm happy to hear that Turpentine Bridge, the bridge to nowhere, is finally going to get started. And I'm happy to see many of the road projects that have been plaguing us for many months now here in the territory, and I've been hearing it from the constituents on a daily basis. So I was happy to hear that those projects are being started.
I think that he recognized that as policymakers we need to work together and make things happen. And the message of hope, I think that was, for me, it left me thinking about what am I going to do tomorrow to make sure that we can come closer to assisting him take our territory, move our territory forward.
Richard Dorsey, News 2.
Many will be paying keen attention to the initiatives put forth by the legislative and executive branch, as it is a critical time in the VI. Well, on Monday, just before the governor's address, the St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix Federation of Teachers, they held a protest demonstration. They say they are fighting for issues and working conditions that confronts them daily. They say this call to action is urgent and crucial. It is imperative that their collective voice is heard. On St. Croix, they demonstrated in front of the Government House, and on St. Thomas in front of the legislature. Here's more.
Well, we're out there for several reasons. And, you know, most people past would think it's just about salary. But we're out there for working conditions, and we are still members of this community. We have classrooms and so forth that still have these moldy scents and leakage and so forth. And then also that. But we're still out there fighting for better wages, number one. We need some more resources in the classroom, technology resources, and different things out there. And we are still members of this community, and you know, we want to hear also what the governor really have to say this evening as it pertains to education.
As a local teacher here, or just a supporter of the AFT, what are your opinions on what's going on?
Well, I think the governor and the senators need to pay attention to what education's like. I do know that I heard the president of the legislature, one of the first things he said is, this old building here needs to be refurbished. Well, the schools need refurbishing for years and years and years. Our kids are allergic to mold. I was talking to a doctor, I'm that way, and he says it's a chronic condition with our kids. Our kids do not have a healthy environment. And if they don't have a healthy environment, they can't learn well. And we need to really pay attention here. All we're hearing right now is we don't have money. Make it a priority, please.
Virgin Islands Congresswoman Stacy Plaskett was not present, but stayed in Washington Monday evening during Governor Mapp's address. She said she had planned to attend the originally scheduled speech on January 23rd last week. However, Congress is in session, and she had a commitment as the House floor manager during that time. She also attended a meeting with Speaker of the House Paul Ryan and congressional leadership to discuss the critical issues confronting the territory. The second-term Congresswoman intends to use her scheduled meetings to discuss the Virgin Islands' financial issues. She noted that the White House executive orders signed last week with potential to result in changes in funding to critical programs in the territory. Responding to the State of the Territory address by MAP, the Republican Party of the United States VI Chairman John Koenig issued a statement. He said, for too long, the only answer has been to raise taxes and increase spending. Robbing Peter to pay Paul will not solve the territory's profound fiscal woes. Government House and the legislature needs to focus on bringing more jobs and better paychecks by fostering innovation, entrepreneurship, and job creation in the private sector. Also, Congressman Ryan Zinke was recommended Tuesday by U.S. Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources for confirmation as President Donald Trump's Secretary of the Interior. Responding to the news, Republican Party Chairman John Koenig said he looks forward to the full Senate voting to confirm Congressman Zinke as Secretary of Interior. Being from Montana, a state, he said, with a significant amount of federal land, he understands many of the issues that Virgin Islanders, particularly our fishermen and those living in St. John, face on a daily basis. Koenig, Virgin Islands GOP National Committeeman Javon Williams, and National Committee woman Liliana Belardo de O'Neill, they attended Zinke's confirmation hearing before the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources. Now, if confirmed, Zinke would have responsibility for the Virgin Islands and the other U.S. territories. Zinke was last in the VI in November when the Territorial Republican Party hosted him on St. Thomas. Turn our attention to politics. Let's hear the latest with Donald Trump. Here's more.
We'll be announcing a Supreme Court justice who I think everybody is going to be very, very impressed with. So we'll see you at about 8 o'clock.
President Donald Trump says he's made his decision and is set to unveil his choice to fill Antonin Scalia's seat on the Supreme Court. The primetime announcement from the East Room of the White House will have an added spotlight following a series of dramatic moves from the new president. The court could have the final say on major issues like Trump's new travel ban, immigration, and abortion. Senate Democrats say they're prepared to fight.
If the nominee is not bipartisan and mainstream, we absolutely would keep the seat open.
The two frontrunners have both been summoned to Washington ahead of tonight's announcement. Thomas Hardiman is a judge on the 3rd U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. He currently serves on the same court as Trump's sister. Neil Gorsuch serves on the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. He once clerked for Justice Anthony Kennedy. This isn't the first person tapped to fill Scalia's seat. Last March, then-President Barack Obama chose Merrick Garland to be his Supreme Court nominee, but Senate Republicans refused to hold a vote or hearings. Trump's Supreme Court pick comes as his administration continues to face criticism over the rollout of his travel ban.
I will not gamble with American lives.
Today, Trump's Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly tried to clarify the new executive orders.
We are and will continue to enforce President Trump's executive orders humanely and with professionalism. Our job is to protect the homeland. These executive orders help do that.
Keeping our eye on the economy, several airlines are promising full refunds to travelers caught in President Trump's new travel ban. American, United, and Delta Airlines say they are complying with the temporary order banning citizens of 7 Muslim-majority countries. But Delta said it would also be reaching out to help travelers affected by the ban. American, the world's largest airline, says it's helping people with rebooking options. United says it is offering customers affected by the ban with refunds and other accommodations. British Airways and Emirates also said they are helping travelers rebook the tickets. Let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. The Dow down 107, NASDAQ up, S&P 500 down. Coming up on News 2, back in November 2016, H.H. Tire and Battery, a landmark business on St. Croix, was destroyed in a fire. Now, there was a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the new location. We'll have the highlights. Welcome back. So what do residents think about the governor's address? We hear from one. Here's more.
Well, I was really excited to see what the governor had to say as we find ourselves in a precarious situation here in the Virgin Islands, where we are unable to access the bond market. Though I thought he had a plan and he spoke in an optimistic manner, I thought that he was not specific in detail as to how we want to take the country forward. But I'm hopeful that the branches of government do what they have to do in terms of moving the country forward.
The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority has scheduled an electrical service interruption for the St. Thomas area, Frenchman's Bay, on Wednesday, February 1st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Approximately 50 customers on the Beverly Hills East Road will be affected while crews replace a burned pole and transfer the primary lines and equipment. This work, they say, is necessary to ensure the safety of pedestrians and motorists who traverse the area. While the work is in progress, motorists are advised to use extreme caution and to observe traffic directions in the area for the safety of the crews and the public. Every effort will be made to restore service as quickly as possible. Well, back on November 26, 2016, you remember H.H. Tire and Battery, a landmark business on St. Croix, was destroyed in a fire. On Saturday, with help from the St. Croix Chamber of Commerce, H.H. Tire and Battery had a ribbon-cutting ceremony at their new location about half a mile from their previous home. Live music, drinks, hot dogs, and hamburgers were part of the fanfare as customers and employees officially welcomed back one of St. Croix's most recognizable businesses.
Another exciting ribbon cutting for the St. Croix Chamber of Commerce, and this is a very special one. Even though H&H Tire is not a new business, they've been a staple in this community for decades, and as many of you, all of you know, they suffered a catastrophic fire in early December. And so this is a new business in the respect that they're opening up after a complete loss of the operation. They're here in a new location, and we're happy to have them back in operation, and we're happy to know that they're going to be here to serve us for many more years to come.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce. They've gotten much more active in the last few years, and they really helped me in a lot of ways in helping me with the logistics and just, like I said, the encouragement. So I'm really proud to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce, and also they really help just the island of St. Croix in general.
Turn our attention to the courts. Deshaun Bailey, 30, was arrested Friday on a criminal complaint charging him with one count of possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Bailey made his initial appearance on the same day before United States Magistrate Judge Ruth Miller. He was released pending a preliminary hearing set for Wednesday. According to the complaint, on December 14, 2016, the VIPD discovered a .45 caliber Taurus firearm with an obliterated serial number wrapped in a T-shirt and hat at the crime scene. Subsequently, Bailey, who was at the scene, admitted that the firearm belonged to him. If convicted, Bailey faces a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison and $250,000 fine. Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter advises Virgin Islands residents to safeguard their savings from investment fraud by becoming informed investors. Lieutenant Governor Potter notes that fraudulent schemes may include newspaper ads promising free money, unsolicited phone calls, or emails promising individuals a supposed high-return, low-risk opportunity, or financial seminars where high-pressure tactics are used to extract monies from investors. Red flags should be raised, for example, whenever an investment promises the avoidance of taxes or an individual is pressured to recruit family members and friends to the investment opportunity. The Division of Banking and Insurance may be contacted for more information at 340-773-6459 on St. Croix and 340-774-7166 on St. Thomas. The Satya Size Center of St. Thomas, they heard there was a need, and Schneider Regional Medical Center became the recipient of a donation of 29 blood pressure cuffs. The checking of blood pressure is an important part of assessing the overall health of patients. The Satya Size Center provided cuffs in a variety of sizes to replace cuffs in the pediatric, medical, surgical, ER, and intensive care. The Satya Size Center, which is an organization under the umbrella of the India Association of the VI, each year they make donations of toys to children in the community. Members visit monthly with residents of Yellow Cedar, Nana Baby Home, and the Elder Schulterbrand Home. They also provide meals for the homeless. Great kudos there, great donation. The Department of Health's department's air conditioning system located at the Charles Harwood Complex in St. Croix, just a reminder, is operational. Therefore, the DOH has resumed regular hours of the operation of the facility. The two malfunctioning compressors in the chiller have been repaired. Although the department is optimistic that the unit will remain in operation, they say please be reminded that the chiller is an aging system that needs to be replaced and could fail completely at any time. The department, however, has contingency strategies in case the AC unit breaks down in the future. The long-term solution, they say, is to replace the two chillers, in which the department is working diligently to secure. Just a quick note, Innovative Cable TV recently received notice that the CLOO network will permanently discontinue delivery of its programming effective February 1st, 2017. CLOO, which airs on channel 315, is one of the channels in the Variety Plus pack on both Innovative Cable TV St. Croix and Innovative Cable TV St. Thomas St. John. Graciela Rivera, VP of Sales Operations in Cable TV, stated, although the network is being discontinued, we are seeking potential replacement channels. We encourage our community to stay tuned for the launch dates of other highly requested additional channels on Innovative Cable TV. In many cases, programmers determine that they will discontinue certain channels without much notice. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.
current satellite showing a large area of low pressure passing across the Atlantic, drawing up quite a bit of moisture. You can see that cold front right here, and the tail end of that beginning to break apart over much of the Bahamas, as well as sinking down in towards the central Caribbean. So for us, not going to quite be an issue. We continue to see that moderate easterly trade wind flow. That's what you're seeing right here with this cloud cover, and that is what has had some embedded showers. That's what we saw earlier for today, but we take a closer look. A lot of that wet weather now off over Puerto Rico, and we're in mostly the clear, though we do have a couple of those pop-up spottier showers as well. So a look at our current satellite as far as our water vapor map goes. You can see large area of dry air over much of the central Caribbean, but we are still seeing those easterlies bring in some of those clouds across the region. So for tonight, partly cloudy. These clouds could bring with them maybe a drizzle or a very brief passing shower. Our low tonight at 73 degrees. Working our way into tomorrow, once again, stray showers possible, but overall it looks like absolutely beautiful weather for us. 84 degrees for our high in St. John. This is also going to toss into St. Thomas as well. And then we drop down into St. Croix. We're looking at more so of a stray shower. We are a little bit warmer here, 86 degrees for our high on Wednesday. Out on the water, it's not too much going on. We see our waves about 4 to 6 feet. Those easterly trade winds running about 10 to 15 knots. And that's pretty much the same story as we head on the Caribbean side of things as well. 4 to 6 feet for our waves, and winds out east 10 to 15 knots. Taking a look at our extended outlook, well, it's going to pretty much be the same story as we head throughout the rest of our work week. Just that moderate trade wind flow. We're not looking at too much changing. We do see an area of high pressure begin to build in, so our trades could possibly pick up as we head throughout the end of this week into the early weekend. So maybe a shower or two heading towards our Saturday and Sunday, but overall we're looking at 84 degrees for the rest of the week. Back to you.
Thank you. Time for our News to Weather picture there by Keilana Pelage of Ricardo Richards Elementary School, sharing this calm scene there. We can feel the calm, soothing, image you got there with the use of bright colors to brighten up that sunshine. Thank you for that, Keilana. Send us your News to Weather picture to the address on the screen and tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for now. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Gumanse. Have a wonderful evening.